Well, I've highlighted recently when it comes to the illegal migration crisis, a huge aspect of this is the European Convention on Human Rights, the ECHR, which even, of course, as I keep highlighting, Theresa May, when she was Home Secretary, said the UK should leave. And the Justice Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister, Dominic Raab, he himself has admitted that the lion's share of people who successfully appeal against their removal from the UK use Article 8 of the ECHR, enshrined in UK law by the Human Rights Act. Of course, just a pitiful 5 illegal migrants out of getting on for 30,000 who have come to England from France via small boats. Just 5 have been deported. If the government wants to get a handle on this, it's very clear now we are going to have to leave the ECHR and scrap the Human Rights Act, as Conservative MPs are now calling for.
The Prime Minister will know that we will not be able to stop the endless waves of illegal migrants crossing the English Channel until we break free from the constraints of the European Convention on Human Rights, which impedes our ability to tackle this tragic situation and protects even the most violent criminals from being deported. So, will the Prime Minister agree with me that it is time to take back control and fulfil our manifesto commitment in 2015 to get rid of Labour's Human Rights Act and bring in a British Bill of Rights?
But Dominic Raab has made a pledge. He has pledged, in speaking to Times Radio, to overhaul the Human Rights Act. Now, this aspect is when it comes to freedom of speech, and he said there's been a lot of discussion in the Sunday papers about free speech and privacy and judge-made privacy laws that we've seen develop in this country over recent years. He says part of that's been in the EU, the right to be forgotten. Part of it is Strasbourg case law. He says, I think we do in this country have a tradition which emphasises and prioritises free speech and open debate. I think that's something which is pro-freedom that we'll look at. Now, as the Mail point out, and well done to them, because all too often some skirt over this completely, but at present, under the Human Rights Act, judges have to abide by rulings of the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. And again, speaking about this, Dominic Raab has said we don't have the continental-style privacy law protections, and I think if we were going to go down that route, it should have to be decided by elected politicians. I think that's a good example of the kind of balance that we can strike with our own homegrown approach to this, rather than the over-reliance on a continental model, which is effectively what the Human Rights Act has left us with. Now, I know there's scepticism from a lot of you about whether the government are seriously going to take action when it comes to the ECHR and the Human Rights Act, but certainly this is something, as I've pointed out repeatedly, Conservative MPs now are calling for action on. As ever, guys, I'll be keeping a close eye on this one. So make sure you have hit subscribe and the bell. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up so I keep bringing you all the very latest right here on my channel. And of course, as ever, thank you so much for watching.